obviously going to learn a lot about diabetic ketoacidosis, diabetes, in this class, the papers on that. And that whole hyperkalemia, this is what you should do on that one, is you have a metabolic acidosis, hyperkalemia, you need to be able to tie that with diabetic ketoacidosis, if that's what the question's asking. Anyway, there's a, if you have too much acid in your blood because of DKA, you have too much hydrogens in your blood, and hydrogens and potassium will try to equalize. So all the hydrogens in the outside of your cell will go inside your cell, which is going to push potassiums outside of your cell, which is why you end up with potassium at high levels in your blood when the problem was an acidotic state. Okay? So that's the only thing I want you to do in that whole part is just mention that hydrogens and potassiums at the cellular level will switch to try to balance out getting some of that acid out of the blood and into the cells as it goes through its basic diffusion.
So you guys have already noticed that your book isn't very in-depth. You have to get used to researching. That's what I do sometimes even when I'm tutoring you guys. I go ahead and search, find a good source, and I read up on it real quickly to remind me what it's about again. So you guys have to get used to doing that as well. It's not going to all be in your book. Just try to find a good source, a good credible source, and try to understand it through there too. So you're researching while doing these worksheets. You're not going to find it all in the book. No way are you going to find it all.
If you do the Merck manuals, professional edition, it's online and it's free. They're usually pretty good. You can go into as much detail or as little detail as you want. And you don't have to pay for it. But that's usually pretty good.
So is it like a PDF? Like a free PDF that you can?
No, it's a website. You go in there and search for metabolic acidosis and it'll pull up a bunch of different things on it, and you go in there and it'll tell you all about it. About the physiology, the etiology, everything about it.
Merck, he wrote it up there.
Merck manuals. Merck, M-E-R-C-K, Merck manuals. But use a professional. It'll give you an option. Click on consumer, professional. You're past the consumer part. If you want to do that, go to the Mile Clinic website or something. It'll tell you, you know, you have an OWI and what?
Can you tell us what the
No.
specific,
What?
can you tell us the specific questions you want us to go in depth in? Like on the assignment?
I don't remember all that assignment. It's been a long time since I even looked at it. Answer the one about metabolic acidosis in depth.
I have to send it to you.
Okay. That's really the only one that's Natalie. Any other ones that you see any kind of need? It can be deep. Again, I made the key a lot deeper than it has to be. But as far as the physiology of these different acid-base states, really the metabolic acidosis is the only one I want you to go into any kind of really good deep depth on. Okay, keep in mind, we have to grade these, right? So don't make them too ridiculous. Yes?
So you're saying like in depth as in like when things bind to like hemoglobin, like that, like cellular?
I'm really not talking about when things bond to the hemoglobin kind of depth, no.
So the point of this class is to see what's going on in the process. So if you're not understanding it, the majority of the questions are asking, okay, what's going on? Go ahead and research what's the normal physiology, and then you're going to go in depth further, one step further. You're going to see, okay, what's being affected in this case, and how is that causing this? That's the point of this class. You guys already got the normal physiology. Now you're seeing what's specifically getting affected and how is that affecting, how is that showing in the body? Okay? So if you get that out of the worksheet, you understand what was wrong and why it's causing it. then you did enough.
Remember our basic rule when you're grading these. You need to know that the person that wrote that knows what they're talking about, and the only way you're gonna know that is if they use physiology that you already know about, right? They're just putting it together, right? So I mean, if you guys start talking about things attaching to hemoglobin and this and other, and carrying, and I don't think anybody's ever talked too much about, you know, carrier proteins and all that kind of stuff. They might have mentioned it, but probably not most people. So, you know, go with their basic physiology. Osmosis, diffusion, exchanges, that kind of stuff, right? Sometimes you can fit an action potential in there, right? That's always good to throw in there, because we know you know that. Okay? Any other questions on that? All right, so, the same thing, again, if you look at alkalosis and it has to do with the respiratory system, everything under there is basically saying, you're breathing too fast. That's it. A bunch of reasons why you might want to breathe too fast, but that's really what they're all saying. Be careful, by the way, if you do try to, again, I wouldn't necessarily try to memorize these. But something like salicylate intoxication, that's definitely gonna mess you up if you try to memorize. What are salicylates, by the way? Like salicylic acid. That's aspirin, yeah. So salicylic acid, salicylate, they're aspirin. Somebody has an aspirin poisoning, it can cause an acidosis, because it is an acid, salicylic acid. But before it does, it causes an alkalosis, so just that's getting confusing, okay? Don't try to memorize these, or you're gonna get messed up and things like that. You'll have it in both categories in your head, and you're like, uh-oh, it can't be right. Weird, okay? And then you'll get hysterical, and then you start hyperventilating. Okay? Ooh, here's a word you need to know. I'm not sure if it's in your mind tap or not, but iatrogenic. It should be in your mind tap. Iatrogenic. Let me know what that word means.
Proper ventilator setting.
No, it doesn't mean improper ventilator settings. It means that would be an example of an iatrogenic respiratory alkalosis. Yeah. You remember that word nosocomial that you guys had, like in the first mind tap thing that was in there, I think? Nosocomial, hospital acquired, right? Iatrogenic means somebody in the hospital, i.e. the doctor or nurse, screwed up. That's what it means. So instead of saying, well, we ended up putting Grandpa in a coma by messing with his ventilator settings and putting them in wrong, we're going to say, Grandpa has an iatrogenic respiratory alkalosis, and they might not sue us. Right? Kind of made a word up to protect ourselves a little bit. It means the same thing. It means you screw it up. And 99% of the time is either a doctor or a nurse, or both. Or crappy handwriting by the doctor that made the nurse screw up. That's why you guys gotta know this. You can't just take orders, because sometimes, oh, that brings up the point. Don't ever go to teaching hospital in May, June, or July. Okay, if you go to a teaching hospital May, June, or July, you are getting first-year residents just out of vet school, and they're in charge. Okay, that's where you're gonna earn your nurse money, because you need to catch them from killing people. Okay, because the death rate actually does go up in those 3 months in teaching hospitals. So that's where you get, they kind of remind me, nurses have been there 5, 10, 20 years, to say, excuse me, doctor. You know, say like that, doctor. I don't think you meant to put that. And they're like, oh crap. Yes? Okay. All right. Again, these metabolic causes of alkalosis, that should just be common sense. Metabolic alkalosis. What are you doing? You have too much beta. why maybe vomited out all your acid, maybe you stuck a tube down somewhere so nobody sucked up all their acid out of their stomach. Actually, there's another little antacid thing, like, this all should make sense. Okay. Questions about that? Right? Sure, same thing. We've seen already a few times. This is just showing, I believe, the pancreas and the fact that, like I said, well, disclaimer, bicarb is made in the pancreas. It's just, we really talk about the kidney just for simplicity's sake. Because they're both in the metabolic system. Okay. Respiratory alkalosis. This is the one where, again, something is a little different as far as the signs and symptoms. Okay? If you get alkalosis because you're doing hyperventilation, right? You guys want, if you want to practice this, let's do that. If you want. Let's do that for like a minute. Are you takers? Everybody takers on that. But if you hyperventilate for like a minute or two, you're going to feel paresthesias. You're going to feel that tingling, that pins and needles, maybe in your fingertips, maybe in your lips, right? You're kind of getting numb and tingling. That's paresthesias. That's different. You don't really see that in the other acid-base stuff, right? That alkalotic states, that'll do that. Especially respiratory alkalosis will do that. Okay? So that's one of the things you might memorize. The rest of the stuff you can pretty much figure out on your own. Again, they all kind of go into, they eventually all go into convulsions and die and go in a coma if you don't treat it. And they don't treat it with their own body. Okay. Questions? They're all confused. Doesn't matter if it's an acid or a base problem. Okay. This is the other one that stands out a little bit when it's a metabolic alkalosis. They have really hyper reflexes, and maybe even go into like locking up with their muscles in the technique. Right? Probably won't notice the hyper reflexes. You might. Get somebody in the knee with a little hammer and they kick you in the face. Probably notice the whole tetanus thing, all locking up. Okay. So, this might be a good example of something that you know, but maybe you didn't know you knew because you're missing a key ingredient in it. Okay. I'm not going to ask you this kind of detail on a test, but this is about the extent of pathophysiology I would expect before it gets really confusing anyway on your homework. So here we have alkalosis, and why is it causing that hyperactivity in your tendons, your deep tendon reflexes? This is just kind of explaining it right here, right? What you probably didn't know is alkalosis increases binding of calcium to plasma proteins. I think that's what you're talking about, right? So if you add that one fact into things you already know, then you don't have enough calcium in the blood. If you don't have enough calcium in the blood, then your membrane potential gets all screwed up and less depolarization. Therefore, your muscles get more excited faster because you don't need as much to kick that action potential in, right? That's about it. I mean, you don't need to go into detail stuff. This is probably a little more detail than I would expect you guys to go into, honestly. Okay? Makes sense? Okay. Alrighty, again, more of these little pictures with signs and symptoms on it. And this is Tuesday, Thursday at 11, and we're going to ask you for some numbers. We're going to ask